From the footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense, I'm Tyler Merkovich with the Czar of the Playbook, Emery Hunt, bringing you our 2010 season preview for the Houston Texans. They finished 9-7 last year. Of course, they started out 5-7 before winning their last 4, but 5 of those losses were by a touchdown or less. So this team keeps climbing the mountain, and it's there every year to break out. So Brian Cushing, Rookie of the Year, of course, suspended the first 4 games. Yeah, a bunch of times over here. So he was one of the breakout players last year. But Gary Kubiak, when is he going to win? Matt Schaub, 19-21 career record. 4th total offense. Passing offense, #1, thanks to him and Andre Johnson. But 30th rush offense. Offensive line really needs to improve. And, you know, they drafted Ben Tate really to help out Steve Slayton and company. So what do you think about the running back situation?
I like the running game. I just didn't need one guy to step up and be consistent. Ben Tate is a guy that's perfect for that offense. One cut downhill. Slayton has to hold on to the football. He's another guy that's perfect for the offense. One cut downhill. He has actually the speed to take it the distance, but he has to protect the football, and his pass protection needs a little bit of work. But, you know, he also looked at the guy that came in last year, Foster.
Adrian Foster out of Tennessee.
Right.
He did pretty productive.
Pretty solid, right. Pretty solid in that running game. But, you know, they have to find that one guy. Ben Tate also has to be healthy. He was injured a little bit in that mini camp just recently, but the health of that running back core, ball security, that's important. And Schaub, he's ready to make the move to elite status. He has to do it second year. Before I put him in that class, he has to do it consecutively. He stayed healthy all last year. If he does it again, he's elite. But with him in the lineup, you see the Texans is a different team, a versatile team. They already run the bootleg passing offense. Their offense is pretty much bootleg passing, zone running. So that's the key, and Schaub is perfect for that.
Well, look out for a breakout guy out of Oregon, Jeremiah Johnson. I think this guy has some pep in his steps. He can make some noise also with those 3 running backs. Offensive coordinator Rick Dennison has a lot to work with Andre Johnson, of course. Their red zone touchdown percentage was 12th, which is unbelievable since you have the 30th rush offense. So Andre Johnson really supplanting himself over. He'll supplant himself over Larry Fitzgerald now that Fitzgerald has a quarterback controversy there with Warner gone. Left tackle Dwayne Brown. This guy came out of nowhere. They drafted him. This is why they drafted him. He's a solid left tackle. Casey Studdard had a lot of time at left guard. Chris Myers is their center. Antoine Caldwell out of Alabama, 2nd year. He'll start at right guard. And right tackle Eric Winston has been good, but they pick up a key reserve from Kansas City. He's very versatile. Inside guy Wade Smith. So that's their offensive line. Kevin Walter, they're settled with. Jacoby Jones, they like. David Anderson also. But Owen Daniels' ACL injury week 8 last year killed them. So they go after, they had James Casey, he's a backup, but they go after Garrett Graham there, and they draft Doran Dickerson, who they want to play wide receiver. So they have pretty good depth at tight end besides Daniels now.
Yeah, the wide receiving core is the best unit on that offense. You look at all those guys you mentioned. Tight end is real special to me because you look at Daniels, very solid tight end. Casey, another very solid tight end on the right. You mentioned Graham, the rookie out of Wisconsin. So that's a solid group of wide receivers. Walter always makes the catch. Johnson is a beast. So they really need somebody in the slot. Jacoby Jones, he has to step up. Maybe Doran Dickerson can provide that guy in the slot that they drafted in the 2nd round. But the O-line I like a lot because there's versatility. Guys that can play both guard and tackle. You mentioned Dwayne Brown. You also mentioned Antonio Caldwell. But another guy that caught my attention is Rashad Butler, a guy that can also play guard and tackle. So you have versatility in Eric Winston. You mentioned a guy out of Miami that can play real solid as well too. So the O-line is solid, running backs are solid, receivers are solid, quarterback is solid. Very, very dangerous offense for Houston.
Defensive coordinator led by Frank Bush. Defensive line, of course, is the strong part. That's why they stay in the 4-3. Amobi Okoye and Sean Cody are the defensive tackles. They pick up Antonio Smith. They signed him to a free agent to play opposite of Mario Williams. But this line still needs to produce. At linebacker, it's D'Amico Ryans, very underrated now since Cushing's getting all the headlines. This middle linebacker is serious out of Alabama. So Cushing's out. Look for Zach Dials. He'll start opposite of Cushing. Before Cushing gets back, but Xavier Debe out of Virginia Tech looks like he'll start opposite of Cushing. What do you think about the linebacking core?
Yeah, you mentioned Dials and also Debe. Those are guys that bring athleticism and can also provide pass rush from the outside linebacker spot. So keep an eye on those 2 guys as well too. Defensive line is where I have the question. They need to get more pass rush from the interior. That means Okoye and also Cody. They have to do a better job of getting pass rush up the middle of that offensive line. And you look at Connor Baldwin, you know, a guy that's playing defensive end. Second year, he looks special. That was a great selection for them in the draft because he can also provide that pass rush opposite Mario Williams. So interior is what they have to improve. So you look for a big year out of Cody and also Okoye. Okoye, he's still young. You know, he's still, what, 23, 24. So he still has a lot of growth
ahead of the league when he was
at
19.
20. Right, so he's pretty solid. But they have to get better at pass rushing techniques. They're good at that solid stopping the run, but need those guys to provide.
Yeah, they need to really show some depth also. So
Right.
if any injuries happen, who knows if these starters will stay healthy or even produce. But the secondary was problematic last year. 18th ranked pass defense, only 14 interceptions. That was tied for 20th in the NFL. Out is Dante Robinson. He was unhappy, wanted his money. And they go after this cornerback, and I love this guy. And I was like, why aren't people talking about him? The Texans knew about him. They picked him in the top 20. It's Kareem Jackson. He's slated to start right away, opposite of Glover Quinn. And strong safety, Bernard Pollard, another guy I love. I'm like, how is this guy? How did Casey give him up? Why is no one picking him up? And they picked him up last year via free agency, and he really stepped up and played well for them. Nick Ferguson backs him up. John Busing and Brian Russell will battle for the free safety spot. So can their secondary improve? They get rid of what so-called their best cornerback. They bring in Kareem Jackson, and Bernard Pollard is there. So can this secondary really slow down some pass offense?
I think so. I like the fact they brought in Kareem Jackson, also Sherrick McManus out of Northwestern, another guy that can come in and play that nickel spot, give you some pop. And also you mentioned Glover Quinn, a guy that did well, impressed me a lot in his first year. So this is going to be a second year back there. So they're going to be a little bit more active. They're going to be a more cohesive unit. You know, Robinson was a distraction because he was unhappy, but now you get a bunch of guys back there that really want to be there and that really want to play for this squad, for this organization. So they're going to be fine. The safety help with Wilson and Pollard, those two guys are going to erase mistakes. If the rookie cornerback struggles, that's going to be help a lot. So I think the secondary went from a problem spot to a strength by, you know, bringing more happy people in that organization, in that secondary, because I do like Sherrick McManus, a little undersized but got his quick.
Well, that front seven not helping out either. They're 25th in sacks, only with 30. So Mario Williams, Okoye,
right.
This is your prime now. Special teams guy Joe Marciano is their coach. They bring in Neil Rackers. They signed him for about $2 million a year approximately. He'll battle Chris Brown, who really killed him last year, especially in back-to-back division games, missing game-tying field goals. So it looks like Rackers will take over for Chris Brown. Punter Matt Turk is okay. Kick returner Andre Davis, great, 23.7 average. Jacoby Jones, punt returner, but they drafted a guy out of LSU. That's Trindon Holiday, track star. This was an okay special teams return unit. It might have gotten better with Holiday.
Yeah, it got a lot better with Holiday, and also got better with Rackers at kicker. Holiday is a guy that's faster than your future, so he is blazing fast. You get him out there, if he has a step, he's gone. Forget about a touchdown. Get the special teams out there to kick the extra point. So I think they got better a lot with Rackers and with Holiday. It's going to be a fun special teams unit to watch with Holiday back there.
Houston Texans, can they get over the hump? Of course, the question mark every year, and again going into 0-10.
Yeah, they won 9-7 last season, first win of the season in franchise history. Look for them to get at least 11 to 12 victories this year.
For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan.